Well, as we can see here in our media here recently, um, obviously we had an incident with involving our LMPD officers. Well, it looks like, as usual, there's always a controversy around, surrounding an incident involving a police officer in the community out here. Well, don't forget the police are the community as well as we are, as well as myself and the rest of you. Um, thing is, police officers are individuals like me or you. I can become a police officer anytime I get ready. That's actually what my career choice is. Things have just slowed. Things that's been happening have been slowing me down. At this point, I've realized myself is slowing me down. That's really what's slowing me down. To walk around with all the knowledge and law enforcement, and everything now, and all the experience I've gotten, I'm what am I? I'm nothing. I'm still nothing. Just a security guard, as you can see. Yes, you know, not sure if they care if I'm recording this, but I'm going to talk about the recent incident, recent occurrence with the LMPD officers and the individual in that abandoned home. Well, as I've mentioned on Facebook or social media, I said the officers are justified per law, KRS 503, General Principles of Justification. They, there's nothing around it. Unfortunately, the guy didn't do what he was supposed to do, and he didn't follow the orders of the police officers. We all have to understand, when a police officer gives you an order, you must follow it. You must obey it. It is the law. When you don't, it's tragedy, catastrophe, and that's clearly what happened here. I'm very glad that it was just that minor thing that happened. The officer still had shot himself and injured himself, but they had to kill that man, and I don't really like to see that it happen. Like that. That's not, I don't like that had to happen, but that's what the guy obviously wanted out of the situation. Obviously we all have a choice. If people don't understand that we have a choice, our choices make us who we are. We all can choose to do what's right. We have that capability. I know we do. I'm in situations, binds a lot, and it's like, man, well, only thing I can do is choose right, and that's all I choose to do is right. And that's actually what I'm trying to get accepted now. I guess me choosing to do right doesn't seem to get me very far in life, because it's gotten me somewhere, but I guess another thing is I have to persevere with the other, with the wrongdoing going on. And I think that's something too. If I didn't persevere as much as I have to this point, I don't think I would be where I'm at. I wouldn't probably have this job right now. I had to persevere very, very much on this job. Really, I had to persevere real heavy. I had to persevere with my supervisors. I had to persevere with the clients here. People I work with here and everything. I had to do all of that. That's a lot of what I had to do. But as far as life goes, we have to persevere in life a lot. But another thing is, when it comes to police officers and individuals with mental illnesses, unfortunately, the police can't immediately assess whether someone has a mental illness or not. And that's the role of the police. The role of the police isn't to do that. They don't really, it's not their job necessarily to assess if someone has a mental illness. Their job is public safety. If we continue to put roles or these roles on police officers, well, they're supposed to know if someone's mentally ill. Well, unfortunately, we can't do that. Now, myself, I know what's going on out here. I'm informed. You could put me in a uniform and a badge, give me a car ride, a beat, and I would know how to more than likely respond to people. But at the same time, I don't want to endanger any of my beat partners out here. So whether or not I know better, don't mean I can actually apply it. I know I'm real intelligent. I would love to show it. I love to show it to our mayor, to the chief, everything. But I'm not sure if my knowledge is going to matter, because they say it's not about what you know, but who you know. Walking around knowing that 2 + 2 is 4 all day, or actually more. I don't see it doesn't. That isn't what actually getting me anywhere in life right now. It's actually being more who I know, and as I said before, persevering. But those officers are definitely justified. It can't continue to be disputed. Now, we know in recent occurrences with law enforcement and other incidents where they're shooting people, killing people, I know it's been about race and stuff, but I've looked at it too. I said, no, it's not too much about race and all that. It's not been about that. It's been about the police are doing their jobs. Now, there's been a couple of mishaps and mess ups on them, but still, we have to look at what's right, what's real. But in this case, the guy put himself in his own, he set his own bed. He set himself up, and that's what happens when you do that. I really feel for the family. I wish that didn't happen. I always wished, even as a police officer, if I was one, I would definitely hope to never have to do that. And if I did, if I ever had to kill anybody as a police officer, hey, I'll tell everybody this now. This is a public video. I probably won't be a police officer after that night. So if I kill somebody on the watch, I more than likely won't be a police officer anymore. I hope to never have to do that. If I become a police officer here, coming up here, I just hope it doesn't happen, but I am not going to hesitate to do my job. I'm just going to let everybody know I'm not going to hesitate. And I am extremely glad that those officers didn't hesitate to do their jobs. Thank God for them. They did their jobs beautifully. I hope they can get right back out in the street and continue doing it. Now I feel safer when I see that they'll do their jobs like that. That's what I'm talking about. But another thing is, as a former explorer of the LMPD, I've worked with a lot of the officers that currently exist in the department now or on the department. I'm also going to just say this. I speak from experience. As an explorer, I did get involved in a couple of these similar incidents with officers. Now, none of them ended with the officer having to shoot anybody. Now, one case, it almost did happen. And then in another case, much way later down, I was kind of questioning the officer why he didn't actually do anything. Well, apparently, I guess as a probation officer or a rookie, I guess maybe he felt a little bit more hesitant. But the guy actually kind of went out of his way because the guy was supposedly armed. And I was like, hey, well, I can do something here, and let me call the officer down. I called the officer down, and they started every single car possible to that scene, and they congratulated me, commended me, gave me all kinds of props for doing what I did, because that officer, it's like he was in over his head, and he was still saying up to this day that he was glad I was there with them. But so that's pretty much the thing about me as far as the law enforcement goes. I've helped out with LMPD a whole lot. They still show their gratitude to this day. They still treat me pretty good. I don't have any problems with them. And whenever they come across me, they see my name. Once they see my name, they kind of realize, oh, they know I'm one of them pretty much. And I'm just trying to say, if I can get things to work out on my end, I'll hopefully be a police officer. But it's really a long shot. I just hope that they'll care more about what I know. And I do know people on the department, that's good, but what I know should actually overrule this at this point, because it's the only way I think we're going to get it better out here. Because one of the key elements to our problem is no social control, or lack of social control. That's one of the main jobs of the police, is social control. And they're doing what they can, but it's just hard to really go about it, because when there's an issue right here, there's an issue happening somewhere else, and it's like, oh, what do we do? That's pretty much what's going on. It's been observed, and that should be that should be agreed with. That's the observation right now. There's the police are responding to issues among with our social control, but then there's other issues happening in another spot, and there's not enough police officers on the street. So what do we do? If us private citizens got involved more, there'll be a way to obviously stop the crime. We must stop the crime. The police can't stop the crime. The community can. And that means the police as well. Us, together. That's the only way we can stop the crime. The crime will never stop. In places like here, Chicago, other major cities, it's going to continue to happen. It's the only way I can put it. But I want to see it get better around here, and and people stop being devastated. I don't like people being devastated, like this families, all the hurt that's going on. See, the thing about me is I do care about people's feelings and try never to bring any harm to anybody by anything I say, or even more by what I do. I always want to help people, and that's what the police should be doing, and that's what all of us should be doing. Hey, don't forget Clinton's theme, Stronger Together. That's the only way to do it. We're not going to be stronger if we're not together. I'm always down. Anybody want to work with me? I'm down. That's all we got to do.